Hey, it's Webs here with a new guide for another heroic bounty, this one being the heroic Taran Zhu, which will both unlock Zar'jira's second equipment and Reno Jackson's second equipment. For this bounty, I actually completed it two ways, the first one being fire, and the second one being pirates. So let's go over fire first, and then we'll go over the pirate one. For fire, we're using Get In with Mark of Conflagration, Ragnaros with Blazing Rune, Belinda with Lesser Water Elemental, Chi-Ji with Blazing Ban, Reno Jackson doesn't matter, and Zar'jira, it also doesn't really matter what you use because you're never going to bring them in. You're looking basically for any treasures that will increase the fire damage output that you can actually have. So things like spell damage on Zar'jira is actually pretty good. But other than that, you are going to be using Belinda, Ragnaros, and Geddon to get to the boss and to actually complete the boss. And for the other build that I used, as I mentioned before, pirates. Pirates were using patches with armed locker, though when I did this wasn't fully upgraded, it was only level 2. Edwin, we are using black flag. Hooktuss should be after Mr. Smite, but for some reason I just didn't. Mr. Smite, we are using Sharpened Scabbard. Reno doesn't matter. And then finally, Hooktuss, we're using Jolly Roger as her equipment. For the most part, you are going to be using Patches, Edwin, and Mr. Smite to actually get to the boss and to do the actual boss fight. The basic strategy to get to the boss fight with pirates is on turn 1, you're going to use I Mighty on Patches. On Edwin, you are going to be using Assassin Blade, and Mr. Smite, you are going to be using Avasi Mady. And then on turn 2, you will use Overboard, and you will also use I Captain, with Edwin using Assassin Blade. Again, this should allow you to just clear out anything in 2 turns. It's actually a really cool little clearing comp that you can actually do with pirates. So with that out of the way, let's look at how I did this with fire first, and then we'll look at how I did this with pirates. All right, so we're just going to be putting down Geddon, Belinda, and Ragnaros here. We're going to put damage into Taran just to get rid of him as quickly as humanly possible, though you might actually want to spread the damage out because you do have 3 different types of mercenaries on this team. I'm going to do a bunch of damage here, get everything real low, just be able to one-shot the entire board, and then we just have to deal with the bench, and we're just basically going to be repeating what we just did again for this turn and then probably the turn after. We're going to freeze or try to freeze the one that is basically a Diablo clone. Sadly, we won't be able to, but it is what it is. They kill or Ragnaros, which is fine. We still have Geddon left alive. And then we're just going to put in Chi-Ji to put in Chi-Ji. And we should win this turn. Or at least get really, really close to it. I'm going to heal up a little bit just to be safe. And now all we have to do is finish off this last one, and then we win from here. So I did this a few times with pirates. I know in this replay that we're not actually using either of the 2 mercenaries to unlock their equipments. However, the 2 mercenaries that I just have on the bench, it doesn't really matter. And this is probably one of the worst lineups that I had for treasure wides on any of the times that I actually completed this bounty, which is why I'm going to show this one instead of one of the more well-rounded treasures that we found along the way. Here you would just bring in Reno and Zar'jira instead of the Cookie and Eudora on the bench. We're just going to spread out the damage here. Should be able to kill at least 2 here. And since none of them are actually attacking, we're just going to use the attack on Mr. Smite. This gets rid of 1. The other thing you need to be a little bit worrisome with, if you do have the fish on your opponent's boards, the next combo is not going to do so well, but it is what it is. We're going to use Eye Captain, Assassin Blade, and then we're going to use Overboard. This should nuke their entire board, and then we just have to deal with the two things on the bench. It also helps that they have an AoE to trigger Overboard too. Then we should just win next turn, because we can literally one-shot both of these. Do this. Mighty is going to go into the caster. And voila. Alright, I hope this video was helpful for you to actually complete this bounty, and it should be a good way to actually complete one of the tasks in the Zar'jira event too. And if it was, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, bye bye.